sit in the chair next to me, lay down, not bother me. I can eat anything, I can eat steak, whatever I want to. When I get done, she always knows.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into 13 Now. I'm Mia Salzano. Today is Friday, July 17th. We're just about a month out from our primary election day on August 18th. And today we're talking with Bay County Judge candidate Hoot Crawford.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad to be here.
Good. So to start, can you just go ahead, for those who don't know you, just kind of introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your background and your career leading up to this point.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Hoot Crawford. I'm looking at that one, but I'm Hoot Crawford, and I ain't never been more proud to be from Bay County. It's the best place in the world to live. I've lived in a lot of different places, but I like it here. I've been here for 22 years now, actually 26, if you count the time I was in school. 26 years in Bay County. And I worked through one hurricane right out there at the West End Fire Department. But wasn't nobody in the world expecting what we got out of Michael. Y'all drive the streets, you've seen it. It's bad out there. It's getting better, but it's still bad. We got a lot more work to do. I got a grandbaby going to be graduating in a few years, and I want her to have a good place to land. And I want your kids to have a good place to land. But to do that, we got to take care of business. And that brings us down to those 55 Hurricane Michael cases from last year that Judge Campbell has ignored. Hadn't made any time at all for it. He wants to claim the small claims rules, keep him from doing this, that, or other thing. I'll read those to you. You can go look at them. They ain't changed none. I ain't from here born, but I'm dang sure going to die in Bay County. I ain't going nowhere, because those people that came in here and helped us, yeah, we owe them a lot. Those linemen were there the first day. Yeah, I drove down. I saw them all. I threw them Rice Krispie treats as much as I could. And I toted food. Back of my truck was loaded down every day, headed to Fountain. Yeah, I want to be with those people the rest of my life. These people are good people in Bay County, and they deserve a whole lot better than they're getting. They paid $1.5 million over 12 years to this fella that ain't got time of day for them. It's about enough of that. Let's get somebody down there that cares about Bay County and Bay County people not cashing that paycheck every month. Now, I know I could go on for a while, but she's over there wanting to ask me another question, so let's get on to that.
So I guess, I mean, you are running against an incumbent, and I guess why are you running, and what do you want to see change?
What I want to see changed is people not having to park on that bench and just wait years for justice. When you got a case, you need it settled sooner rather than later, and you shouldn't have to wait years until he finally makes a little bit of time for you. No. I know how to work after 5 o'clock, and I'm sorry, Miss Clerk, I'll do that work myself. And I'm sorry, Mr. Bailiff, I'll do that work myself, and I'll do it on the front porch of the courthouse if I have to. I'll pull up a shade tree, we'll work the weekends, but those cases that you got down there, they need to move right on along. And I'm ready to do it. Now, he's got about as many cases open from before Michael as he does after Michael. A bunch of them. Well, there ain't no sense in that. We sure had a year where he could have done something. And he can do something right now about those 55 Hurricane Michael cases. He can call up those attorneys and say, look here, you got you a pretrial date. We're going to do it by Zoom, and we're going to have a record of what you need and how to settle this case. A judge is required by the small claims rules to try to settle it. It says shall try to settle the case. He ain't here to lick at a snake. $1.5 million down the tubes to get justice in the future, maybe, if he's got time for you. No, sir. That's about a belly full of that. Let's bring justice prompt, fair, and efficient back to Bay County where it belongs, because these people are hurting and they need some help. I'll go down there and get you some help just as quick as I can. Thank you.
So do you think that the problem that you're talking about, the inefficiency that you're talking about, is from a bigger problem in the justice system, or is it one person's fault?
I can't fix the whole justice system. But I can tell you he's got 3,000 cases, better than that, running all the way back to the 80s. 1985, he's got a sack full of them. He's got another sack full from 86 and 87 and 88 and 89, all the way up to 2000, the last century. Now, how can you have a county court case open from the last century over a $6 check to the Sunshine Market? No, sir. Those people are 35 years older now, and he's laid a trap out there for them, says, if you run a stop sign, I'm going to have you arrested, thrown in jail, and then the next day I'm going to have to dismiss that case. But I want you to go to jail, and if your grandkids are in the back seat when you get pulled over, guess what? We'll call DCF on them. And if you got Bluebell back there, it'll just melt. That's about enough of that. Get rid of those old cases one way or the other. You drag those folks in there and you say, we're going to do something or we're going to dismiss it. It's up to you. Yeah, he needs to get up off his butt and quit cashing that check and start working for a living.
Do you think, though, that problems within our justice system are hindering him from doing said work?
Now look at him. He can blame Michael. He can blame COVID. He can blame the other judges. He can run around and try to blame everybody in the world. But it's him who did it. He cashed $1.5 million worth of checks to sit on cases from the last century and to ignore 55 Hurricane Michael cases from last year, and he's ignoring another 55 from this year. The records are right here. I got them right there in that bag. All you want to see, I'll show them to you. You can tell them what you see. They're down there at the clerk. You put your freedom of information in the Bay County clerk, they'll tell you how many open cases he's got, just like I did. They'll tell you that he's ignored those 55 Michael cases because he ain't set the first court date, even though he claims the small claims rules apply. The small claims rule says you have your first pretrial date within 50 days. The small claims rule says within 60 days of that, you have a trial. That's 110 days in small claims. Now, I don't agree with him that small claims rule applies, but he wanted to use that excuse. Okay, if small claims rule applies, we way over 110 days, you not doing nothing except cashing your check. Get up, get busy, get down there and bring justice to Bay County. They deserve it.
Okay, so let's jump over to a couple policy questions. What is your take on police reform?
You know, in my practice, I've dealt with some really, really good police officers over 22 years, and we got a bunch of them here in Bay County. My personal feelings is that every time an officer has an encounter with a citizen, it's recorded. Audio or video, preferably. And then everybody can see what happened, right? We can all watch the video and see exactly what happened. Video is the way to go. They're paying tens and thousands of dollars for this equipment, but we can't get one little old camera on a police officer? No, we need to fix that. And that just needs to be built in, and every officer's got one on him, and it's going to protect the officer too. Now, we've had that right here in Bay County where somebody wanted to accuse the officer of being out of line, and when the video showed up, well, it wasn't quite that way. We well past time. The cost has come way down. I can get them for next to nothing and put a camera on them. Every single body, every police officer in the world carries one of these, and they got a video right in them. The person who's having the encounter with the police officer has one too. So if the officer doesn't want to use his, he can ask him, do you want me to record the single most important day in your life, and we're going to try to throw you in jail over that? Do you want me to record that so we all got a record of it? I think that's about fair. We're past time where everybody gets videoed. Citizen, officer, we don't have to worry about it because we can review exactly what happened and get real close to the truth just by watching the video. We need to do some more of that. Now, as far as reform, some of those folks I've met over the years, they don't need no reforming. They're just fine. They might need a little bit of direction every now and then, but everybody does. My wife makes sure I get plenty of it. We can do better than this, Bay County. We can get out there and we can have prompt, efficient, and fair justice for both sides right down here in Bay County, and we can do it in a hurry. I've had about a belly full of looking at stuff from years ago and sitting down on those hard benches with absolutely nothing happening except sign your name and come back another day. No, when that courtroom opens, we need to get business done, not just sitting around waiting on somebody else. We can do better than that, Bay County. If you'll vote for me, I'll make sure we do. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Miles.
Thank you. So do you believe that marijuana can be prosecuted under Florida law?
Well, you ask a big old legal question there. Can it? Yes, it can. It's still against the law. Do we need to be wasting a whole bunch of time on it and a whole lot of police officers? I don't think so. We got bigger fish to fry around here. Look around. We got a whole lot of things that need fixing way before we worry about a little old joint in somebody's car. Now, it's still against the law, and if you do it and you don't have that permit, guess what? You might go to jail. And you might be guilty of it. But you need somebody down there that cares about you and is not going to jerk you around over a little old roach that somebody left in your dad blame car. You can be prosecuted, and you probably will be prosecuted. Now, whether you should or not, that's a whole nother story that a whole lot of other people got to answer before me. I expect that's going to get to the voters before it's over with, and the voters will decide whether we want to throw people in jail for that or not. We're going to have a vote on it eventually, and when we do, we'll find out what the citizens say, because they're the ones who get to make the call.
Okay, and I just want to go back to kind of my first question. Can you just talk a little bit about your background and kind of what led you to running for judge today? I guess kind of your career background and things like that.
I've been representing citizens of Bay County for 22 years, gladly sitting next to them down there in the courtroom. And you can't do that for 22 years and have somebody sitting next to you and ignore the people. You just can't do it. We've been down there fighting tooth and nail for everything that they deserve, and I'll keep doing that. I believe in people. I like people. And I love the people of Bay County, because y'all were here when I needed you, and I hope I was here when you needed me. I rode that excavator for 7 months. I didn't go by my law office but one time in 7 months, because we needed excavator operators a whole lot more than we needed lawyers. And I sure hope it don't happen again, but if it does, my friend will loan me that excavator again, and I'll ride that sucker until I can't throw trees no more. Now, we don't have near as many trees as we used to, and boy, the shade sure is sparse out there. But we deserve better than what we're getting for our $1.5 million. $1.5 million thrown down a rat hole while justice was ignored. That's about enough of that. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I think that's all I have. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. Right now, I want to take just a minute, because I have to pay for everything else. But right now, I want to take just a minute to thank those people who were standing on this side of me, and on this side of me, and behind me, and in front of me, while we got out here and we cleaned this place up as best we could with everything we had. We did almost everything with nearly nothing. And to hear somebody down there make excuses why they can't do their job, and we're paying them that kind of money, $600 a day. We're paying him $600 a day, and he ain't got time for us? No, that's about enough of that. Let's move on and get somebody down there that cares about people and is going to get the people's business done. And when you show up in courtroom, you're not going to sign your name and get you another court date. You're about to do something. I'm not going to call you down there unless we're going to do something. But when you show up, we're going to do something, and it's going to mean something to you. I don't want to file a suit and be number 3001 in line, but that's what he expects you to do. You take a number and you'll be number 3001, and if I ever get time, maybe I'll get around to you and maybe you'll get justice. No, that's not the way justice works. The judge should be working for the people, not for himself. And when he focuses on the people, he'll find real quick that that docket will clear itself up, and that justice will get coming out of that courtroom, and we won't have to wait years for justice. We can do it in months or weeks. way better for the people who need it. You wouldn't go down there and ask him for nothing unless you needed it. Nobody wants to file a lawsuit. Nobody wants to be in court. Heck, even half the lawyers don't want to be down there. But when you do, something needs to happen. And it needs to happen sooner rather than later. Weeks and months, not years and years. That's what I stand for, and that's what I believe, and that's what I'll do. If you'll vote for me, I'll bring prompt, efficient, and fair justice back to Bay County where it belongs. I got one last thing to say. Thank you to all you people that helped me. And Fountain, I'm praying for you every day. I know how hard you had it. I see your houses. I pass by them every day. And I cry every time I do. But I'm coming. I'm going to help all of you as best I can. I told you truckload after truckload after truckload of food and water to Fountain. I didn't get a nickel. I don't want a nickel. I'm glad I could. I'm glad I found food to take there. I'm glad I found water. I'm glad I found ice. And I appreciate all y'all folks for bringing it down here, but we needed that. And Fountain sure needed it, and I carried it to him. If you don't believe it, you go up and ask Miss Chido up there, and she'll tell you what I did. My final word, God bless Bay County. Thank you very much for having me, Miss Maya.
Thank you so much for your time today.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you learned something new about Bay County Judge candidate Mr. Hoot Crawford. You can revisit this interview on mypanhandle.com's Meet the Candidates page under the Your Local Elections Headquarters tab. On Monday, I'll be talking with opposing candidate and incumbent Bay County Judge Tim Campbell. But that's all for today. I'm Mia Bell Salzano. See you Monday.
Thank you.
We are the believers. We are the hope keepers. Living to make a difference. And there's nowhere like this. No, there's nowhere like this. And I love and living lose 13. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Handle screws. And I love and living. I'm living local and it's everything to me. We are the believers, we are the hope keepers, living to make a difference. And there's nowhere like this, no, there's nowhere like this. And I love and living lose 13. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Handle screws. And I love and living. I'm living local and it's everything to me. We are the believers, we are the hope the believers, we are the hope keepers, living to make a difference. And there's nowhere like this, no, there's nowhere like this. And I love and living low, 13. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Handles close, and I love and living low. I'm living local and it's everything to me. We are the believers, we are the hope keepers, living to make a difference. And there's nowhere like this, no, there's nowhere like this. And I love and living low, 13. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Handles close, and I love and living low. I'm living local and it's everything to me. We are the believers, we are the hope keepers,